Whispers of a storm. It began quietly. In the year 1347, rumors traveled along the Silk Road of a strange sickness in the east. Merchants spoke of entire towns silenced, of bodies abandoned in the streets, of a death that came as fast as a shadow. Few in Europe paid attention, until 12 Genoese ships arrived in Sicily. When the sailors stumbled off the decks, they were fevered, their bodies swollen with black boils that oozed blood and pus. Within days, the city of Messina was drowning in death. From that moment, the plague spread like fire, moving from port to port, village to village, carried by ships, rats, and the fleas they bore. The storm had come, the face of death. The disease struck with merciless speed. First came the fever and chills. Then, swellings, buboes, in the groin, armpits, and neck, dark as night. Within 3 to 5 days, most victims were dead. Some collapsed in markets, others in their homes. Priests could not bury fast enough. Bell towers rang day and night until their sound itself became a song of dread. They called it the Great Mortality. Only later would it be remembered as the Black Death, for the color of the sores and the shadow it cast over the world. A world unraveled. No corner of Europe was spared. Cities locked their gates, but death climbed over walls. Villages fled, but death traveled faster. Entire families perished within days, houses left empty, doors marked with black crosses to warn of plague inside. In Florence, chronicler Giovanni Boccaccio wrote of how friends abandoned friends, parents abandoned children, and doctors refused to enter homes. In the silence of deserted streets, only carts rolled by, piled high with corpses. It was not only lives that ended, but trust, faith, and the very rhythm of society. Faith and fear. With no cure, people turned to God, and to fear. Some believed the plague was punishment for sin, and so processions of flagellants walked from town to town, whipping themselves in hopes of divine mercy. Others looked for scapegoats, accusing outsiders and minorities of poisoning wells. In many cities, Jewish communities faced brutal persecution, though they too suffered the plague's hand. The plague stripped away certainty. Doctors wore strange beaked masks filled with herbs, thinking sweet scents would protect them from poisoned air. Yet nothing seemed to stop the spread. The toll of silence. By 1353, the Black Death had claimed nearly 25 million lives in Europe, a third of the population. In some regions, entire villages vanished. Fields went untilled, churches stood empty, and kingdoms trembled. The plague did not discriminate. It killed peasants and nobles, priests and kings. And yet, in the silence it left behind, change began to stir. With fewer workers, peasants demanded higher wages. With faith shaken, people began questioning authority, planting seeds that would one day grow into the Renaissance and Reformation. Legacy of shadows. The Black Plague was Europe's darkest chapter, but it was also a turning point. It showed humanity's fragility, yet also its resilience. From ashes rose a new age, of art, of science, of medicine more curious and bold. The memory of the plague never left. It lingered in paintings, in literature, in the whispered fear of returning disease. It reminded every generation that life is fragile, and that within the silence of despair, change often takes root. The Black Death was not only a disease, it was a mirror. It showed humanity the depths of fear, the cruelty of desperation, but also the strength to rebuild. Europe was scarred forever, yet from its darkest night emerged a dawn that would shape the world anew.